makes it worse. I looked at that 25 years ago, I'm still here. Stay here. You haven't decided yet? Some people say I'm indecisive, but I say, oh, yes and no. We're about to do the advanced class. It's going to be Jomeo and Ruliet, my Balkan tack route. It'll be more fun than root canal. I like to tell people things I can actually guarantee. Should we do the yelling part? What do you think? Yelling part? We still got a few minutes before I actually have to start by contractual obligation, and I can always just hope that people wander in. Every once in a while I feel like it's necessary to try and attract some attention. You know, and actually work for it. But then again, I work at Renaissance festivals, so which may be a contradiction in terms in and of itself. Oh! Alright. Well, why don't we try the yelling part? You know about yelling? Let me explain. Yelling is a cheap attention-getting device that's been working for me since I was 2. Possibly before that, I just don't remember. But you will see as your day goes on. Decided I'm not for you, huh? Yeah, all right. I knew it. I knew they wouldn't say. They had a plan all along. When they caught me looking at them. Fun in. Anyway, so what I do is I yell, and then people come in, and then we do a show. Yell show. Everybody out here yells this time for shows. You've probably seen this happen, right? This pattern has emerged already. Yeah, everyone yells except for the mimes. I find the mimes have a hard time thinking outside the box. You know, I'd like to if you did understand. Which means you are my people. Yes. Because I have found that people who come to my shows, they understand more than the average Renaissance Festival audience. They do. All of my audiences, I swear, are above average. because this is not an easy thing to understand, right? I talk fast, I use big words, which means I can confidently turn to a group of people who chose to come to my show and start a joke with René Descartes walks into a bar. See, you're laughing already. I probably don't even have to finish the joke, except if I don't finish the joke, you'll be walking around all day unresolved. Which is kind of like if I went... See? See, thank you. Otherwise, we'd be walking around all day unresolved. You know, I understand that Mozart used to drive his father crazy by going... And old Leopold would have to get out of bed, go to the piano and go... before he could actually sleep. I've heard that. Anyway, so René Descartes, just to resolve this, René Descartes walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Will you have a drink?" He says, "I think not," and poof, he disappears. Descartes is the guy who said, "I think, therefore I am," so he didn't think he wasn't. Well, some of you liked it. All right. Well, let me yell a couple of things. We'll come back to this particular topic because I know I've got some heady jokes for you before we even start. And it'll get really difficult. I don't know, some people just think I'm difficult anyway. Particularly my wife. So here we go. This is me yelling, It's time to hear your favorite Shakespearean tragedy, ruined beyond all recognition! I was hoping you'd do that. That's the most important part of the yelling part. It is. It's not what I do. Anything that I say within 10 or 15 feet of our little theater here, it becomes totally unintelligible. And then, of course, once my show starts, anything I say becomes totally unintelligible. Yeah. So I've discovered that as long as you folks go, it doesn't really matter what I say. See, people are coming in right now. I mean, I've been experimenting, and you know that's true. But I've tried yelling things like, Smaggle, swangering, like could carry my own lunch. The smell in my basement was a dead gopher. 4 out of 5 doctors is 80%. I just like that one because it makes an entire audience go, yeah, what? Oh, you know, he's right. Good Lord, it's a theater major who does math. No, it can happen. No, theater majors have to do math. They do. Nuh-uh. All of those waiters have to be able to total up the check at the end of the night. Oh, you have more theater majors out there? Yeah. Where do you wait tables? Had an Applebee's earlier today. Where? Used to be Chili's. Yeah, they're still open, right? All right, good. I used to joke about that all the time. I was doing like coffee rounds at the Brothers Restaurant down in Minnesota. I say, how do you get a theater major's attention? Oh, waiter. And then one day out here, a guy jumped up in the back row of my toes and went, yes, theater major, Olive Garden. Since then, they have Applebee's, Ruby Tuesdays, TGI Fridays, Chili's, Denny's, Perkins, IHOP, The Beat, Bennigan's, Cracker Barrel, and twice in the front row, Hooters. Yeah, those were girls. Yeah. And approximately very adult, mature, liberated, no response was, yep, they are. Anyway, we were talking about theater majors doing math. Okay, in the last 51 weeks since last we met, my time has not been wasted. Well, okay, that's a matter of perspective, but I have learned some new nerdy math jokes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're not sure about this, are you? You want to hear one? Want to try one out? So, all right. This is nerdy math joke that started this particular binge I've been on. Here it is. Why do mathematicians have a hard time telling the difference between Halloween and Christmas? Because Oct 31 equals Deck 25. Yeah, all right, there we go. I'm always amazed when I get laughs at that. I did get laughs, I saw them. Yeah. See, Oct, we're talking about base handy computer programming, right? Yeah, there is. Okay, now, here's last spring, what happened. I had a rather small audience after a very hot, sweaty day in Texas, and everyone was kind of like this, and somehow I managed to have a dozen engineers in this one audience. 1 dozen engineers. How did I find out I had a dozen engineers? I'm not quite sure. Except it started with one guy going, well, I'm an engineer. Geez, so am I. Me too. And all of a sudden, there are at least a dozen engineers in this one show, which says to me I need to be making Ziltch, Tory, Steller pocket protectors. But aside from that, I told that math joke, and all of the engineers, all 12 of them, they all did this. They all went. There's about a 3-second pause, and one lone engineer off to the side says, "Oh, wow!" Now I am of the generation where, "Oh, wow!" is usually followed by, "Look at the colors." And you were there. So what this says now is that people have been telling me more math and science jokes, and I absolutely love them, and I want to share them with you. Is that all right?
Yeah.
You up for at least one more?
Yeah.
All right. So, Einstein, Pascal, and Newton are playing hide and seek.
Oh.
All right, Einstein says, I'll be it, and he covers his eyes and he starts to count. Pascal takes off running. Sir Isaac Newton pulls out a piece of chalk, he draws a 1-meter line. He makes a right-angle turn, makes another 1-meter line, makes another 90-degree turn, draws another 1-meter line, and then closes off the box with a final 1-meter line. And he just stands there. Einstein finishes counting, he opens his eyes, he says, "Ha! Newton, I've caught you!" And Newton says, no. 1 Newton per meter squared, you caught Pascal. Okay, this one is my favorite, and this one doesn't get even as good a reaction as the last one, but I really like this joke, which says something about me, I guess. So a physicist, a biologist, and a mathematician are standing on a street corner watching a house. Right? So as they watch the house, they see 2 people walk into the house. They continue to watch the house, some time passes. They see 3 people come out of the house. The physicist says, there must be something wrong with our observation. The biologist says, well, isn't it obvious? They reproduced. The mathematician says, if one more person goes into that house, then it'll be empty. Wow! See, I like that one.
Look at those colors.
Yeah, really. Dude! All right, so, on that note, let's do this. I'm going to try to teach you people how to leak in a different language by telling you Jomeo and Ruliet, the tragic trail of those cute-tilted whoring mouses. Yes, the advanced class, I know. We're going to be doing Jomeo and Ruliet today from Bat to Tata. From fart to stinish. Yay! Even from bunt to frack. I know, that makes me nervous too. We're about to do Jomeo and Ruliet by kitching our consonants in the middle of our sentences, by getting our tangs tight on our eye teeth so we can't see what we're saying. Some people call this walking backwards. Some people call this talking in spoonerisms. Some people just stare at me with their mouths open. I call that the freshman algebra look. Or even the theater major in a statistics class look. Basically, for the next half hour, you and I shall join forces, and together we shall whirl our turds around. Ooh. Same page, should we start? All right. Jomeo and Ruliet starts out with a low prog. Everyone know what I mean by low prog? It's itinerary learn. Okay, we're talking about the first part of the play, right? Excellent. English major over here. In the low prog, the rare nature. The rare nature? Right! We'll stock it on the wage and pike in Puddley Strode. You are not buying this, are you? All right, the rare nature stalks out on the wage and he tells you the top line. This way, if you, the audience, swallow feet during the urged fact, you don't miss any plot twists. Not a word. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Some of you may want to break out scratch paper at this point. I am so glad you laughed at that. I did the show a couple years ago for an entire room full of elementary education majors. For freshmen. Right, sincere and dedicated 18-year-olds gathered around me in a neat little semicircle. I look out and I'm getting nothing. Nothing but the wrinkly nose stare. And when I say you may want to break out scratch paper in unison like they do in ballet, they all go, oh, and start rummaging through their backpacks. It made me want to homeschool. Jomeo and Ruliet, low prog, whacked on. A gong on a toe, a phallic sea, war a gay. Good, you are listening. There were who told houses, both a dyke and lignity, and from the little throins. Sorry about that, I was hanging down the aisle. From the little throins. Chung sprue till beer. It's just that easy. For a guy. Less than to doll in fub and eat a mitter bend, these two cross-eyed mooners are Jomeo and Ruliet. Now, our story starts in the bound of Toronto. That's in the Little Italy. Are you with me on this Little Italy? Right, we're talking yellow syrup, baked like a shoot, kind of hanging out there in the head of Turanian. Spots of Ligeti. That's Homo Paseo. That's not. That is from my upcoming album, Things That Should Never Be Played on a Mandolin. Along with... And who could ever forget? Smoke on the village. constantly striking in the feet. You see, the States would fart when a raw-tempered toad would fight his bum. Now, do you know about fighting your bum? Right, fighting your bum is a medieval way of, bipping the flirt. Right, nowadays people learn how to bip the flirt in driver's ed. Indeed, most flirts are bipped out on the Superstition Freeway, especially during road destruction. You know, when the Anti-Destination League is out. You know the Anti-Destination League. I bet you've run into them. They're out there. Oh yeah, they're doing their little decorative sculptures with the orange cones. Like, hope this, no exit. Did you know that when they misbehave, they're punished by being made to stand on the side of the road holding a sign that says slow? Yeah, I always feel sorry for them because really they can't help it. I too am amazed to make it through the day with all my teeth. So they would fight the bums. Fun one would figure out and say, hey, do you fight your bum at me? Well, they would fight their bums back and forth and then they would start patro-mastering. Nowadays, after the patro-mastering, they'd be pulling up the baggy pants. Yeah, I didn't get all these opinions until I turned 40. And I'll tell you another thing, no one under 21 should be allowed to have a sausage on a stick. That's just my opinion. You agree with me, don't you? Oh, there is too much symbolism in the food out here. For dessert, may I suggest a frozen chocolate-covered banana on a stick with nuts. Or as we call them, pleasure bumps. Too much? I'm amazed they don't sell the darn things with piercings. Okay, that was too much. One joke over the line. They would fight the bums. They would patro-master. Funwell would saw his drawer swing. This one over here. He'd go up to the Gerspy. He would have him from the start. Yow! Now that would doil his whole spay. Because that guy would make a knocking noise. And he would dull overfed. So the prize wince would tool around, he got his twickers in a nest. He says, get you highs, fop if you're starting, or I shall hop if your cheds off. Whereupon verily it's sooth, they would then quote, dokie okie. So they had a pence tease. Now, it was during the pence tease that Jomeo Durante used, a VH toy, a stashing dud. Oh yes, he was handsome and hung. He was dabbling with the pearls. Well, Ransom Jomeo had been frilted by his drill grin, which means he'd been doily rumped. So his dress band commercial says, hey, Jomeo, why the thong lace? And remember, kids, flossing is the important part of dental hygiene. He says, I got a date idea. Your ornamental cold apulate is pulling authority over at his family phallus. Hast thou ever seen cold apulate's family phallus? It's fancy phallus. It's huge. But he doesn't show it to everyone. I would like to thank you all right now for having a very large vocabulary. And I really want to thank the next generation over here and right there for not getting a word of that. Kids, you're going to need a thesaurus. They come a little set. The Stegosaurus, the Brontosaurus. There's a really big one in Jurassic Park. Barney! It's a big purple thesaurus. Thesaurus Rex. Tough crowd. Commercio says, what say we Fame fellows pass that party? We shall pick us up some pigs. I'm paraphrasing. So Froby and his friends went Bolio Commercio. They puck into the snarky. I Ransom Jomeo glassed his pants around some of his thighs about up down in his pockets. Because of that mateful foment, his lays gambit on the most beautiful maiden in the found of Torona. It was the Jer Fully lavender turgid. That was the rumor. And at that fateful moment, she farted a higher in his start. Oh yeah, she really sucked his knocks off. She nearly sucked her own knocks off. Ransom Jomeo had a learning bust. But his parents found it, they took it away. He don't analyze these. He talked to Ruliet, he had her grand. In a vexy sois, he says, let us mence the Dacarena. And for the nest of the night, they lit the tritan fasting. But Dallo Rancing, Ruliet's cousin, the Tory fibbled, he of the lashing flayed. Okay, Tory fibbled, he's kind of the gadby. The gadby, the bound Tory. He's got a song lord. He goes around peeking up on Sneeple and roking him in the bibs. Yeah, Tory Fibble is a gasty nigh. That's because he's always farting skites. Well, Tory Fibble, he flips out on the lance floor. He sees his beautiful cousin. She is chancing geek to geek. She is flaying pissy case. With Jomeo of the Rantagues, Tory Fibble gets caught under the holler. His boils begin to blood. That would explain the tasty member. He is about to saw his drawer and fart a stite, but Cold Abbey lets his teeth fibble. Sweat up your cord, nip it in your kickers, light a match. There shall be no shed blood in my family phallus. I know, it just keeps popping up. Well, kids, this is kind of like watching NASCAR, isn't it? Air show! Parents! Oh, thank God. So, Jomeo and Ruliet lulled and fought, they danced all night. Eventually, the arty pended, and when it did, she took him a bliss. Better accuracy that way. No, it's like a sheep. Okay, now what are my better choices? She stung the Clares to a red boom. This left Ransom Jomeo thrilly frustrated. Yeah, so he didn't hug on. He spent the nest of the right wanging out by her window. Well, he must have been aged toy. So there he was bending in her stushes. Don't go on stage, there's no future in it. He was bending in her stushes. He hooked up when he heard enough slinger noise and they're bending on her stalcony, lack-becurring and imsy flighty. Was dutiful Ruliet, this really set his part to hounding. So it's a good thing he was bending in her stushes. He looked up and he said those immortal words. He said, soft butt that breaks wind by yonder light. Yeah, regular keying out of the crap you, ain't I? I know, more like a Shilliam Wagner. Yeah, I know. I just buried the needle on the Kiko meter. Greetings. Wham! Just look around. It's a Renaissance festival. But for one bucket of green body paint, this would be a science fiction convention. It is not even unusual for me to be standing on a Renaissance festival stage, look out, and all of a sudden, I got a back row full of Klingons. Half of us as Star Wars stormtroopers hanging around together.
Oh.
Yeah, having a little intra-genre mixer. And one of the stormtroopers was wearing a kilt. Obviously, it was Celtic weekend. It did, however, allow me to use my favorite line. These are the druids you're looking for. Okay, suckle your meat belts, fanboys and nipples. Ah, the Renaissance Festival. You'll never find a more rectified scumbility. Last spring in Texas, right in the front row, 11 Doctors Who. Oh, and boy, were they annoying. They kept yelling out, look, we're in chronological order. I told the group, another group, that about 11 Doctors Who, 5 people whip out sonic screwdrivers. And I'll tell you what, when you don't know what they are and they light up and buzz, it's really disturbing. Even now, as we speak, there are people out there at picnic tables rolling dice to figure out what accent to use. The lady's regular at my shows. She carries a 20-sided die in her car at all times, so in case she has a flat, she can just pull over and roll for damage. Told a group in New York, that kid jumps out of his seat, shakes his fist at me. No, D20s aren't for damage. And I am absolutely appalled at how few people are going to have to explain. I swear, I am going to go to a science fiction convention dressed as Willy Loman from Death of a Salesman. Figure that one out. All right, I'm off on a tangent. Okay, Jomeo got more lines than I know some of them. Is the teeth that Ruliet is the John, arise, their fun, moon that envious maid. That's one way to get her attention. Pressed ham on glass. See how she cheats a leak upon her pan. Oh, to be a hub upon that land. Oh. I never know what to do with my hands after that one. Kind of feel like an ex-congressman. Tell you what, we'll hump a Jed. Ruliet, she's got some famous farts too. Now, she's bending on her balcony, hinking hard. Her nimsy flighty is brapping in the fleas. Which is what comes from all that breaking wind by under lights. She doesn't know that her lutra of a ransom Jomeo is out baiting in her wishes. Probably a good thing. So, she pokes out from her balcony and she says, Morio, where or fuck the Morio? And knows by any other name would swell his meat. www.naughtyjuliet.com. She says, deny thy daughter, swore fair my father. Okay, basically, ransom Jomeo. If you're on a different day or a different family, we can get together and pinch the dokey hokey. Well, run Jomeo, word or herds, he banged from her bushes. He yells out, I shall wake thee at thy turd. She says, who's biting my bushes? You're so good at taking bombs under piston turd, you piss in your luster. You keep my louse or I shall cop the calls. But then he leapt into the stite, and she flew his nace. He bind up her balcony. There's a euphemism for you. When I was a teenager, we called it storming the Bastille. You love friends. I see London. Anyway. They duped, leap into each other's thighs. And he list her tender tips. Both of them. There's two there. See, under the fuzz. They sucked face. Let's take a little pause. Right there. If you've seen my shows before, you know that there are landmines in just about every story I do, yes? Yeah. There are certain works of literature one does not touch in spoonerisms. I believe the class already knows about Robin Hood, am I right?
Yep, Friar Tuck.
Friar Tuck, very good. Friar Tuck is merely the iceberg. Just the story of Robin Hood alone, we also have Snuck Up in the Forest. Locked Up in the Castle. That'll keep you busy for a while. Moving along. We don't do Tom Sawyer. Who's got it? Anyone? Tom Sawyer? Huckleberry Finn, excellent. 10 points for Gryffindor. Oh, I It was meant that way. And the only reason I even say anything about it is about 5-6 years ago, I had an entire audience get mad at me for that one. We have not! Really explains a lot about Texas. Next line on this guy's mouth, we saw the movies! Oh yeah, and for me, the embarrassing part is that it took me about 3 years to come up with a retort for that, and I admit it, I read it off a bumper sticker. Best bumper sticker ever. It said, never judge a book by its movie.
Yeah.
It was a bumper sticker. I can't take any kind of credit for that at all. Favorite t-shirt. Saw it here. Haikus are easy. Sometimes they don't make sense. Refrigerator. Every little kid who's had to write a haiku loves that one. All right, moving on. We don't do a Midsummer Night's Dream. Puck the Fairy. We don't do Treasure Island. Fighting Buccaneers. Yeah, and that makes Pirate Weekend out here just about impossible. On a personal note, I am no longer allowed to dine at Fuddruckers. You will never again look at a Ford truck with a straight face. Don't sing Yankee Doodle. Good, yes. Yankee Doodle and to London, hiding on a Roni. Scoochie Shores. Next time you change your linens, beware the fitted sheet. If your last name is Pitt, don't name your kid Shiloh. I have to write Grand Angelina a thank you note for that. And last but not least, here comes the quiz. So let's see what we've learned today, students, shall we? For this one, please, on this one, everybody works alone. Don't tell your neighbors. I can see you. And for this one, you most likely will figure it out. And when you do, please don't shout out the answer, okay? I already know it. Here we go. This is a test. Avoid, if you can, A Tale of Two Cities. Go. Good. Good. Yes. Good. 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 Yes. Good. No? We'll come back to you. Good. Good. Now everybody's had a chance to work on it? Need a hint? Sounds like an ad for a plastic surgeon. Okay. A Britney Spears concert. Dolly Parton's autobiography. Breakfast at Charlie Sheen's house. A Super Bowl halftime show. That's only half right. That's why they call it halftime. Okay, in doubt still. Eyes up here. Eyes. A sale of two. Stand up, take a bow. A sale of two. A sale of two. What's a teacher without visual aids? Objects and teacher are closer than they appear. I'm gonna jump right up at you. It's like 3D. Oh, that was a bad choice. Do you have a permit for those? You don't need one, they're not concealed. Although over a certain caliber, they are considered weapons of mass distraction. Thanks to you on a yokel. So, Jomeo and Ruliet. There, we pretty much covered them all. We're sort of abreast of the situation. Jomeo and Ruliet. There they are, bending on her balcony, carrying a shelter kiss, mooning in the standlight, risking frog. When their pips lightly farted, handsome Jomeo found himself in a pit of fashion. Kmart. So he lowered his swoop truck with a stone Lamar's about to help. But carefully yet, she was a cart smoky. She knew that being-aged toys have ickle farts. So she says, ne'er swap my boom that incontinent moon, lest thy thoughts should brood incontinent as well. Depends. Well, it gets a big laugh in Florida. bumped off her balcony and hunting Rome, wondering who speaks Faro, and the next day through subterfuge. I went to college. Yeah, look where it got me. Through subterfuge, I went to the chief examiners of liar fronts. A liar front is the proud teeth, the bone loliad, village minister, birch caster, hostess of the teeth. He's a clan of them off. He's a moistured clunk. I'm out of synonyms. He says that all themselves they hot gitch. They are woolly neds wound in holy headlock. After only done waiting, really, they've nearly boned each other. That's a keeper. Jomeo says, oh, this fit of beauty tricks the contiguous of the Magdalene societally offended. I must hug on and tell my terrence. So he struck him on the deet with a file on his face, a hello in his smart, and soap in it, hope in his soul. He's keeping it clean. I think that's at least a triple entendre. At least, but I'm looking for the elusive quadruple entendre with a twist. But his dopes are happy, his white was thrilled to eat, he's his crestlet commercio, and Terry Fiddle's he of the lashing flame, and they are cocked in little combat. Swing now. Jomeo walks into the today. He's got a fate of the bright. He's lutate, commercial is readily founded, commercial makes a knocking noise. And then he has a really spawn leech for a guy with a walking cess tube. Don't worry, I'm in a shaky cork. He says, you know you're just encouraging me.
Oh, it makes me feel like a new.
Yeah, and now I'm dating myself. And that's illegal in Arizona. Yeah, but not in Utah. Or Wisconsin, for that matter. Everything's legal in Wisconsin as long as it involves a dairy product. He says, oh, her son cooked your mouses. He says, look for me tomorrow, and ye shall grind me a Braves fan. And he'd also prevent cutting ropes, wonder now. At this, her ransom Jomeo is forely sexed. And God with the pearls, he talks with removal, he faps him in the slates, he farts a stike, wild chemical warfare. They swash their croys, Jomeo gets it a thrucky lust. Terry Fiddle makes a knocking noise. Hits the head with cutting ropes, to renew. So now for having Ziltch kibbled, ransom Jomeo gets banished to Badua. But before he goes over to Ruliet's joust, and he binds up her balcony. He winks at her snindo. They pants the dokey hokey. He has a plate of gnashing. They have a plate of gnashing. At least started without her. He was a teenage toy. Through the aid of technology, she caught up eventually, and then... Let your cell phones don't vibrate. I'm going to hear about that one later. Then, just before John the Deck's nay, he hunts his horse. As well. No, wait. He hunts his horse as well he should. That didn't fix it, did it? No. Okay, moving on. He has been banished back to where he was never fully chasing the mountain of Girona on day of pep. He strings in the saddle, he takes the woolly, and he says, call you text. And he bites off to Radua. Dutiful woolly is hoken breaded. She dens the best of the ray, hoping around her mouse. But later that later, father and mother say, Jay Ruliet, foot on a peppy haste, you ducky lure. We have made your marriage to the potty carrots. He makes a look giving. He's got a vice personality. He's co-responsible. Yeah, you know what that means. Unbugly! We have girl ransom Jomeo. It's a real mud stuffing. Cheaping with her beers, she goes to Liar Freud's. Liar Freud says proper style. He says, listen closely. He says, pick the sprouts, dig fat, full heaven, will dig that for you with word, will touch with the boom, I try to show me how to run your cast, you shall live happily after ever. Well, thank you, but don't get too excited. She doesn't have a Chobal's Hansen Snell. Of course, she doesn't do this because she hasn't fled the rain. There's an existential conundrum. There's two words you'll never hear at a Tortuga show. She always she thinks in herself, she thinks in the girdle, she swings into a food. Her full heavily think that she's spent. They go hunting around the mouse, yelling, no, oh, de-shed. Oh no, she's dead. Good. They pull her girdle, they turn her in the boom. Luckily, they don't do a autopsy. Scully would have. I just wrote Real Jomeo that his beautiful Ruliet is foliating it. Her death. But the bored passenger, he's riding a doe slunky, and then Thalzar, that's one of Romeo's friends with a piney tart. In the play. He pides off the retro, he says, "Way, Homeo, dumber booze, nude." Your Lutra, beautiful Ruliet has fell and fed, coupled off her short oil, gone to make her meter, fought the barn, picked the tucket. She is even now douching up Pacey's. In a pine-blooded ransom, Homeo humps on his horse. Nay! Horsey's getting a workout. He goes bellowing like a gorilla. Now when he touches the lagoon, there's the pony carriage taking up the hoon. The pony carriage sees Jomeo over interviews. He says, "You, foul villain, fanged and stole yourself." Ransom Jomeo says, "What?" They swaths their crows. Jomeo gets in a thrucky lust. Pony carriage makes a ducking noise. Bits the haven pony works from her knee. So now, Ransom Jomeo talks into the womb. Hello? Dark in there. But strangely crowded. It's the Camberley folk and the Camberley fabula. They're all in there. Only the dead ones. Where in the world have you gone? Wisconsin. There in the middle of the boom is his beautiful Ruliet. He teaches round, he chokes her street. He says she looks so natural. And then he peaches into his rocket. This one over here. He pulls out, don't touch it. A puddle of poison. He hosts for health. He bucks it back, he gallows it in one swallow. He then's bound, he listens her on the kips. He says, "And this, when I cuss, I die." And he calls her fed cotty works from her knower. Nunchamo, a beautiful Ruliet, is a slevy heaper. Yep, she's alone to make her fly lids on her flippin' up. She sees a high, she sniffs a gourd. Tying on the lure of the flume is her Ransom Jomeo. He is door as a dead nail. Biff as a story. She teaches round, takes the bottle of poison, tries to drink a tink, but her lady grubber has barfed the whole snottle. So in a daft itch effort, she passionately pisses his lead dips. Hey, spilling moisture is not the hate of fart. Then singing at his hide is his nerd shite, so she whacks his weapon. And his knife, too. Try and tell me you weren't thinking that. She places it at her breast. The knife! Souvenirs of past relationships? You know, most people just keep a sweater or something. Now look out, gents, lest you find yourself shopping at Snap-on Tools. Oh yes, I look this to 20. She says, "Oh, Debbie Hager, let's just be thy teeth, and with a little fuss, a blush of good, and a certy sigh o' wilbur." She done slept like her keep into her darted she-dolls overfed. And Terror was there, a whale of such know as Janet Fuliet and her rare Fomio. For now, staying on the lage, Archive fighting corpses. For funny currency, French friends do turtle toes, and the tar pigeon a trair. You know what it is? And now, of course, my favorite fart of every show, the part where I grab my hat and ask for dough. You've been a lovely pool of people that would love to take you home with me, but you won't fit my luggage. You can, however, take me home with you. There are CDs, and DVDs available. They come in really handy for figuring out why everyone else laughed. The DVD actually features a sign language interpreter. Yeah, it doesn't really help, but it's fun to watch her try not to explode. We also have copies of my book, which is called The Night Before Christmas in the original Minnesotan Yausher du Matthew. So we're going to take all this stuff, my faithful sidekick and I will go conveniently to the back, where we can conveniently block your exit. Coming up next is Titanic. I'll be that guy standing in the back with the hat out saying, help keep my teenage daughter in ballet shoes. All right, so here we go. Class dismissed.